Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Fowler, and I'm going to be giving my presentation over Japan. Japan is an archipelago off the east side of Asia and located in the North Pacific Ocean. It's been inhabited since 30,000 BC. The primary immigrants are Korean and Chinese, and it did become a world superpower by the 19th century, which is when we started to see a lot of Western influence, and the main religions are Shinto and Buddhism brought over by the Chinese and the Korean. For education, Japanese students go to school for 12 years of primary school. Food education is very important and it is taught to them at a very young age. There are high graduation rates and students are very likely to pursue higher education. Education has a heavy focus on social studies as well as day-to-day interactions in the real world. There are 4 main islands of Japan. So the first is Honshu, which is the largest. There's Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku. The majority of the island is occupied by rough terrain and mountains, and Mount Fuji has the highest elevation and is also known as being the most recognizable land feature. Tokyo is the nation's capital and it is located on Honshu. Their largest industries are agriculture, which grows rice and primarily fruit, and aquaculture, which is a very large industry considering that they are surrounded by ocean on all sides. Due to the rough terrain, the populated areas are located in the lowlands along the Atlantic Ocean side of the island, and Tokyo, the country's capital, is located in such an area in Honshu. Traditional health beliefs are intertwined in the main religions of the country, and several major concepts that characterize the notions of health, illness, and healing are health as an ephemeral state, and the importance or the notion of balance with imbalance leading to illness. There is an inherent belief that people are born with jibiyu or a chronic illness that will take on a specific form depending on one's ailments at that particular time in their life. The culture has found several ways to incorporate modern medicine with these traditional practices, and they will always choose methods of healing that are considered less violent to the body. Japan is considered a very high context community. Rather than being direct, they use words to communicate several meanings, and they rely on nonverbal cues, especially hand and face gestures, as well as body language. They use all of the senses to communicate, and even silence can hold significant meaning. The general assumption is that nonverbal communication is more reliable than actual words. Rice is considered a primary food since it is served with almost every meal. Meals typically include rice or ramen, soup, especially miso soup, and a form of protein, typically seafood. Fish and veggies are considered core foods as opposed to land animal meats, and Japan is also known for sushi, which came about because of the rise of Buddhism and their ban on eating meat. In fact, a wide variety of vegetarian or meatless foods were served in small portions using one of the 5 cooking standards or techniques. All foods were divided into 5 color groups, which were green, red, yellow, white, and black or purple, and 6 tastes, which are bitter, sour, sweet, salty, and delicate. The Japanese continue to use this system. Since they do not rely on additives or meats, most of the flavor and seasoning comes from a blend of spices, especially the use of umami. Much like other cultures, Japan enjoys a meal schedule of breakfast, lunch, then dinner. Breakfast is the most important meal, and it will be the most filling, usually rice and fish. Lunch is lighter than breakfast and focuses on rice and veggies, and dinner is a very important meal and the one most looked forward to in Japan. A suitable Japanese dinner will usually have rice, soup, and 3 courses, which are often combined into one. The preparation of these common meals includes the following. Seafood is often consumed raw, which is known as sushi or sashimi, since it is so fresh. However, seafood can also be grilled, boiled, and deep fried. Rice is usually prepared steamed, traditionally for meals. However, a variety of rice strains serve a different purpose, such as mokigom, which is typically a dessert rice. Vegetables are cooked very similarly to seafood and can be served steamed or pickled and even fermented. There are 5 different cooking styles that the Japanese follow. So there's nama, which is cutting, niru, which is simmering, yaku, which is grilling, musu, which is steaming, and agiru, which is deep frying. A few of the significant celebration foods include fried chicken for Christmas, which is actually very popular for other holidays as well, and they love to get it from Kentucky Fried Chicken. And for the new year, you have tozo sake, which is spiced rum, and oseki ryori, which is usually what we would call like a charcuterie board spread, but it can involve fish cakes, veggie salads, chicken, and sweet rolled omelets. And for the Hanamai, or the cherry blossom festivals, which welcome spring in Japan, you have onigiri, which are rice balls and seaweed, miso, sakura mochi, which are preserved cherry sweets, and a variety of other dishes as well. For food preservation, the people would boil seaweed and use the salt that was left behind for food preservation. This was very popular because they were surrounded by water on all sides. They used this method for vegetables, meat, fruit, and fish. Common food etiquette includes consuming foods in one bite instead of biting food into smaller pieces. It is also viewed as rude to not eat everything on your plate. This can mean being careful to not overserve yourself, and they also have a strong belief in eating at only 80% of your capacity, which contributes to healthy eating habits. Food is also eaten with chopsticks unless otherwise indicated, and a taboo practice is catching falling food with your hands. In relation to nutrition, they believe in foods that benefit the body and honor it. Japanese people are among the healthiest when it comes to diseases that affect the rest of the world, such as cardiovascular disease and obesity. They use chopsticks to eat, so they take smaller portions, and with a variety of the foods they eat, it seems to aid in satiety. PubMed describes how the Japanese diet, known as washuku, aids in their above-average health. So in summary, the main elements of washuku diet promotes positive health outcomes and are the great variety of seasonal foodstuffs, including vegetable and fishes, the way of cooking dishes based off large amounts of high-quality water, and the well-balanced nutrition, and finally, the value of its connections with health and family ties.